Dean Kelly of Kelly Law Associates, and I'm here to tell you that I can get you off. I can legally get shit. Car accidents, tax evasion, minor genocide, it's all the same to me. Some might look at a man and see a husband who brutally murdered his wife and then kept her body in the trunk of his car for 3 weeks. But I see a man who just didn't know how to play tennis right and accidentally hit his wife with a tennis racket 36 times, and to keep her body warm, put her in the back of his Camry. Public masturbation? More like government exacerbation. I graduated top of my class at the University of Phoenix. Kind of. Just remember, I am the law, and I will get you off. Having a divorce, your kids don't love you anyway.
So, if there's someone to point the finger at, it would be his brother! Oh my God! Oh my God, nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look!
What if Legal Eagle is the Zodiac killer?
The other day I was going to my local Starbucks, and when I got to the till, the barista not only had the audacity to be a woman, derogatory, but also talk to me. This is unacceptable. So in no uncertain terms, I screamed, "Excuse me, whore! I'm married! Do not flirt with me!" As I proceeded to show her my phone wallpaper and wallet photos, which were both of my lifelong shadow, and then I proceeded to growl at her until the police arrived to escort me out. So
and now, the nations of the world who hate Johnny, presented by Eva. United States, Canada, Mexico, Panama, Haiti, Jamaica, Peru, Republic Dominican, Cuba, Caribbean, Greenland, El Salvador, too, Puerto Rico, Colombia, Venezuela, Honduras, Guyana, and still Guatemala, Bolivia, then Argentina, and Ecuador, Chile, Brazil, Costa Rica, Belize, Nicaragua, Bermuda, Bahamas, Tobago, San Juan, Paraguay, Uruguay, Suriname, and French Guiana, Barbados, and Guam. Norway and Sweden and Iceland and Finland and Germany now one piece. Switzerland, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Italy, Turkey and Greece. Poland, Romania, Scotland, Albania, Ireland, Russia, Oman. Bulgaria, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Cyprus, Iraq and Iran. There's Syria, Lebanon, Israel, Jordan, both Yemen, Kuwait and Bahrain. The Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Portugal, France, England, Denmark and Spain. India, Pakistan, Burma, Afghanistan, Thailand, Nepal, and Bhutan, Cambodia, Malaysia, then Bangladesh, Asia, and China, Korea, Japan, Mongolia, Laos, and Tibet, Indonesia, the Philippine Islands, Taiwan, Sri Lanka, New Guinea, Sumatra, New Zealand, then Borneo, and Vietnam, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, Mozambique, Zambia, Swaziland, Gambia, Guinea, Algeria, Ghana. Burundi, Lesotho, and Malawi, Togo, the Spanish Sahara is gone. Nigeria, Chad, and Liberia, Egypt, and Gabon, Tanzania, Somalia, Kenya, and Mali, Sierra Leone, and Algeria, Dahomey, Namibia, Senegal, Libya, Cameroon, Congo, Zaire, Ethiopia, Guinea-Bissau, Madagascar, Rwanda, Mayotte, Cayman, Hong Abu Dhabi, Qatar, Yugoslavia, Crete, Mauritania, then Transylvania, Monaco, Liechtenstein, Malta, and Palestine, Fiji, Australia, Sudan.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad!
Really? Do I strike you as the type of guy who can be bought with money?
Yes, you do.
Well, you're absolutely right.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing this? Fine. Fabulous. Fantastic day. I think it's a Monday. No, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday and I was wrong. And you know what else? We have something wrong with our... Hold on, go to recording. Properties levels 89. You know, we're gonna have that up just a little bit. Oh my god, that's way better. You know what? Okay, so like this is like a tip for streamers in the future. But like for some reason, every once in a while, Windows will just change your fucking microphone settings. I don't know why, I don't know how. But I'll go into the Windows settings and I'll see my microphone volume lower than it should be, than what I set it at. And I'm like, okay, well that's just rude. Anywhoosies, thank you for the head pats, by the way. I'm gonna have the head pats going while I well, I say hi to all the people. Festiva, Francis Karma, Death the Goat. Oh. Magmafa. Vicky Han. Phoenix Fire. The Devil's Advocate. Des Remy. Nico Fox. Maglafox. Daybreaker Rain. Meteoric. Galileo Alonzi Gallifrey. Oh, and then I thought I saw somebody else here. Yeah, Cardinal Crimson, Nerdy Texan Accountant, Durian Nosarn, Ivanson Nightfall. We actually had a lot of people on Project. Welcome. We're having a lot of people chat. That's pretty cool. So we have a few things to be reacting to today. Good news, I made cookies. So you know, I don't make cookies. God damn it. Okay, it's okay. Thank you for being staying for 2 months, by the way. Okay, so we have a few. Oh, actually, you know what? There was something that I saw in the suggestions channel. It wasn't a video, but it was like something I can redo pretty quickly. So let me video suggestions. It's all the way down here. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, this is something that you know, I'm just gonna kind of Representative Jim Jordan is reporting. And several other... Oh, thank you so much, Bad News Badger, for the 5 gifted membership. And welcome, Pixel Plus, McSkittles. Went out, Pixel Plus, Paul Farrell, Mike, Neptonic, and Tommy Euclid. And thank you for the 5. I always meant to ask you, how did you find someone who let you read law with their firm? Who let me read law with my firm? Also went to... Oh, okay, I see what you mean. There was a family friend who was a lead partner in a family law firm, so that is how that worked, and that is why I, as soon as I passed the bar, as part of it wasn't like a contract agreement, but it was like a expressed warranty. So it was a hey, we will oversee your apprenticeship program for these next 4 years, 18 hours a week, as long as when you pass the bar, you come to work as an associate with us. Which is what I did for a year. Is that a low-fi version of Doverkin from Star? Yes, it is. Head Pets to Loli, thank you for the 2. Go for the Scuff Fire, thank you for being a Jarl for 7 months. Why? Okay, hold on. We had to do this. Oh, wow. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there was a problem there. My noise gate was way too aggressive there. Demented Dice, welcome. Okay, so let me do this, and then I guess I can... Yeah, this will work. Okay, and bam. So... Representative Jim Jordan and several other outlets have been reporting that due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. Now, this isn't entirely true. All creators that were previously kicked off of YouTube due to not political speech, but rather violations of their COVID and misinformation policies are going to be allowed to come back to the platform, which is fine. I'm fine with that. I wasn't cool with Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air, especially following pressure from the SEC, but at the same time, for them to act like this is the same thing, or it's like, oh yeah, no, look, we did this thing. We can look at the thread, we can look at these, but pretty much just the bans involving the COVID-19 TOS violations and stuff like that are being rescinded because it's been 5 fucking years and they're allowed to make content again. That's cool, but this seems like, oh hey, this is like a, what would even be the word? Eva, I sent the full email and video suggestions. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Email, here it is. King and Spalding. Spalding. Okay, honorable genera, face will be heavily alphabetic. Throughout the committee's investigations, Alphabet provided responsive information committee of fulfill its oversight responsibilities, producing internal records and providing extensive testimony, including more than 46 responsive documents, and the voluntary participation of 20 executives in transcribed interviews. Alphabet is a collection of businesses, the largest of which is Google. Alphabet's mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Okay. The company is committed to its part. Okay, this is a committee in its investigation. The company appreciates accountability from the House Judiciary community, led by Chairman Jim Jordan, and its critical role in advancing the core market value of freedom of expression. The company has a commitment to freedom of expression. This commitment is unwavering and will not bend to political pressure. Transparency regarding government interactions with private platforms is essential for fostering public trust and upholding principles of free expression. The committee's investigation brought to light new information that enhanced public understanding in this aspect. Okay, so this is an email by Jim Jordan. Okay. It is. Okay, just making sure. Khalid was in unprecedented time. Had to reach the systems about to balance freedom of expression with responsibility, including responsibility with respect to the moderation of user-generated content that could result in reward harm. Senior Biden administration officials, including White House officials, conducted repeated and sustained outreach to Alphabet and pressed the company regarding certain user-generated content related to COVID-19 pandemic that did not violate its policies. While the company continued to develop and enforce its policies independently, Biden administration officials continued to press the company to remove non-violative user-generated content. Okay, so these are claims. These are claims being made, but... and it's reading like a lawsuit. It's kind of weird. Daniel F. Donovan. Oh, Counsel for Alpha. No, so this is... no. This is addressed to Jim. Okay, that's far better. I like that a lot better. Sorry about that. They might not, I don't know. Okay, let's see here. You should take seriously the importance of protecting free expression, equality of reason, and The company has transparently evolved its policy framework related to COVID-19 to ensure space for further debate and discussion on the platform. YouTube never had a community guidelines prohibiting discussion of the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. As publicly announced in 2023, YouTube ended several COVID-19 content policies. Okay, and as of December 2024, YouTube retired the remaining standalone COVID-19 policies that allow discussion in various treatments for COVID-19. Okay, so... okay, so I see what's going on. Yeah, so basically... inappropriately, I might add. I mean, it's one thing to suggest. It's another thing to put pressure and threaten action, right? And while this does look like, it does look like the Biden administration, because we have a very similar, email and stuff from Zuckerberg, from Meta. And Meta also admits that the Biden administration, or at least somebody on behalf of the Biden administration, had contacted them regarding the spread and dissemination of false information regarding COVID and stuff like that, and asked them to do better in moderating that kind of stuff. Now, this is what I would like to see the most. Is I would like to see the emails and the correspondence between like Alphabet and the Biden administration, or even Meta in the Biden administration, and see if there's any pressuring language similar to what Brendan Carr had done regarding his "we can do this the easy way or we can do the hard way." Now, if that happened, obviously that's the issue that we've had recently, and that's the issue that I would continue to have no matter what side is doing it. But if the Biden administration approaches these platforms and asks them to, hey, can you guys be more careful about this without threatening action? I don't know. I think the government is allowed to at least do that. Dissemination. So yeah, that's really like more so than this or even Zuckerberg's statement on Meta. I want to see the email correspondence between the representative of Meta and Alphabet and the Biden administration representative who reached out and made these suggestions or put this pressure on, whatever. That's what I want to see, because similar to how I put Brendan Carr on blast for his inappropriate behavior and pressuring a private media company into doing something, I would like to also call out the people who did that in the Biden administration and tell them, no, you can't do that either, right? So that's what I want to see. Look, JP Ruinfire, I swear to God. Yeah, I'm talking weird. I'm talking too fast is what's happening. So, I want to be mad, but like, honestly, I just need to slow down. Any of these. That is that. So that's that little thing. And again, I would love to see the correspondence between the Biden admin rep and these companies. Because I want to see what kind of language was used to pressure those companies. But with that, we are going to go ahead and move on to the next thing here. And this is an update on everybody's favorite deranged freaking sociopath, Roger Jackson, who now faces up to 6 years in jail. He has recently been arrested and is facing an aggravated assault charge. So let's check this out. Sam Jackson, welcome to the chat. Cool. Let's get rid of background music real quick. It's Roger time, yeah. So handsome.
Jackson faces up to...
Okay, so, and I'm gonna say this real quick before. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Andrew. Andrew, it's not my fault. You have the most amazing pause frames of any creator I've ever reacted to on a platform, I swear. But I think they are woefully undercharging Raja for what he did and what we have on video. I seriously believe that they would have had a very strong case to charge him with mayhem or even torture. And torture can carry with it upwards of 10 years in prison. And the thing about torture in California is it's defined as intent to cause great bodily harm for the purposes of revenge or any other sadistic act. And the qualifier of whether or not the victim felt pain is not determined in whether or not somebody actually meets the standard for torture, which means that just because Psycho Stu was slammed onto the ground and he lost consciousness immediately, that does not matter when applying the law of torture in California. Yeah, apparently, look, I've got to look it up, but for what I saw, he was being held on a $50,000 bail, and it was an aggravated assault charge. I don't know, look, and sometimes what they do is they'll bring somebody in with an initial charge, and then as the process gets going, they'll add more charges on later. Maybe that's what's happening here. But right now, as things stand, I think Raja is being undercharged, and I don't think that's okay. Because this was a very, very visible event. We all saw it. It was all on video. I still have the unedited fucking video that NateTheLawyer has unlisted. Yeah. Anyway, let's let Andrew talk.
6 years behind bars as he has been criminally charged. Of course, it's Andrew Esquire, the legal mindset we teach you to be your own judge. We're going to get into it today on this one, which I completely called, and I'm taking a little bit of a victory lap on this one because the criminal charges were right exactly as I predicted. Now let's look into what happened, give you guys a little background. Obviously, you know, he had the incident with Psycho Stu.
Yeah, which, by the way, I will take my victory lap on that one. I said the arrest is really more performative than anything else. He's going to be arrested, and he was going to be let out on bail pretty much immediately. Like the next day, if not hours later. I knew that. Everybody else knew that. That was not the issue when calling for his arrest. We were calling for his arrest so the charges could properly be be applied, and like the LAPD shows that they're actually enforcing the law appropriately. They took way too long. I honestly think they could have just served him and just had him come to court and stuff, but that's neither here nor there. I think that the arrest came far too late.
He delivered, it was believed, recorded 10 or 11 strikes after Stu was completely out of commission. So even after the guy was completely down, at least 10 or 11, if not more, strikes to the guy, not defended against at all, completely down, had to be pulled off. And that was a major incident. And people investigated it. And I called it then that this would come to a criminal charge. And of course, they spent some time to debate this, but we now have what went down. So here's his arrest. Here's the arrest photo over here. Not going to play the video, so it's not copy claimed. But this is a photo of him being brought off on the morning of the 19th. So like I said, he was arrested. Roger was formally arrested on the morning of the 19th. He was charged with felony
19th,
battery
so
with serious bodily harm. One of the ones.
Okay, so I was wrong. It was felony battery. Okay, with serious bodily harm. Ratchet has already paid bond to be released. Rampage should previously said that he believes Roger should do some jail time and community service. If that's coming from his own dad, the courts might very well look at that.
That I went through.
I don't know.
And we're going to go into detail on this, as well as what the penalties are, what the elements are. Does he have a defense? But he has already paid bond, so he's already released. He's already out. And one important thing to remember is that Rampage had previously said that he believes Roger should do some jail time and community service. Now, I'm not going to play the video. I'll do that on my live version. But if you like these short, fast facts, make sure you like the video. And
speaking of, we do need to do that. So make sure you like the video and you comment. Commenting for the algorithm and the accountability and and the consequences of Raja's own actions. We'll put it down to algo because I can't spell rhythm apparently. There we go. And continue.
Comment below. Loving the fast facts version, but even Rampage, his dad, agrees. So most people on this want to see him do some jail time. They don't want to see him just walk or get a slap on the wrist. They want to see him do a little bit of time. And let's look at what this would entail. So under the statute, the California statute, under California Penal Code 243, there's battery with serious bodily harm. It's also called aggravated battery. So for brevity, for shortness, we're going to just call it aggravated battery. So this can either be a misdemeanor or a felony. Now, in this case, they have charged him with the felony version. So don't think it's the lightest.
What's super funny here is some of these are still a broken tooth, once on the eyebrow, lips requiring sutures, bone fractures, broken bones, or serious disfigurement. This can all actually also be applied under mayhem and torture as well. Mayhem specifically requires a slit of the eye, nose, lip, or ear, the deprivation of a body part. So like if you seriously injure or disable a limb or a finger or anything like that, you can get charged with mayhem. And there's a lot of cross-qualifying standards for some of these laws, for battery, for assault, for mayhem, for torture. And again, I do think that they could have gotten him with more than just aggravated battery. But luckily, this is the felony version of battery, so, we at least have that.
They could have gone even lighter with the charges. Now, what does this mean? What does serious bodily injury mean? It means serious impairment of someone's physical condition, regardless of whether a medical treatment is necessary. So losing a tooth, loss of consciousness, a cut under the eye, broken teeth, wounds to the eyebrow, lips, bone fractures, broken bones, serious disfigurement. We have a lot of those, actually, in this case. So what are the elements? What is required?
Devil's advocate, how dare you? So you're saying that I don't got rhythm. Oh, shit. You know what? I forgot the lyrics, so you know what? Never mind. I almost Phineas and Ferb'd you, let me tell you.
Required to prove this crime. Well, the first one is to prove that they willfully and unlawfully touched the victim in a harmful and offensive manner. Now, this is really easy to prove because willfully means on purpose. It doesn't mean you have to have evil intent in your heart or whatever. It just means, did you touch them on purpose?
Yeah,
a touch is any physical contact. So it doesn't matter if you're punching someone and they're wearing a mask and it's through clothing. That doesn't matter. It can be through clothing. So whether it's to the shirt or whatever else, you punch somebody, you touch them, you're going to get...
Yeah, you punch them, you lift them up from their waist and then slam them behind you. Yeah, that counts.
This as long as it's got serious bodily harm. We've defined that, right? Once again, going back, loss of a tooth, consciousness, cut under the eye, broken tooth, wounds, lips, bone fractures. We have all of that. The last one is you have no defense. Now, that's very, very important. So what are the defenses? Let's talk about that. First is self-defense. So is there any scenario where this could be self-defense? Well, you need to meet all three elements. First, you believe the person has to believe that they are at risk of serious bodily harm. Second, you have to believe the force was necessary to stop the harm. And third, you use no more force than was necessary. So this may have applied. You can make an argument, right? You can make an argument that in a fight, right? If you're in a fight, that using some force to stop that fight is enough.
Which is true. But the issue is, Psycho Stu was in an active match with another person. Raja was not on the stage. Psycho Stu was on the stage. There's no present threat to Raja Jackson at the time. And then he decides to close the distance, get on the freaking, on the ring, and engage Psycho Stu. So, while, like, a self-defense argument can be made, in like the general sense, I don't think one's going to apply to Raja.
Here's the problem. He was unconscious. He was knocked out. He was flatlined, right? This guy was just completely not able to fight back at all. At that point, you have a duty to stop. At that point, your self-defense, even if that would be an argument, it's not. It's not an argument at all. Because...
okay, you know what? That's fair. Like, I didn't even get him past the first hurdles. But, like, Andrew was saying, like, look, if you do manage to argue past these first couple these first couple, hurdles, the fact is you used far more force than was necessary to stop the harm that was, threatening you. So while, like, even if you gave him the benefit of the doubt and he somehow managed to get past believed at risk of serious bodily harm or believed force necessary to stop harm, he used far more force than necessary, and therefore he can't get to self-defense. So again, that's affording Raja like the most generous fucking view of what happened and what we saw on video.
When a guy is not fighting back, when he is out cold, no, sorry, you don't get to keep going. That's when you have to stop. That's use no more force than was necessary. So even if Raja wanted to defend on that, that's not going to work. So self-defense is out. Next, you need to say there's no serious bodily injury. Now, you would need medical testimony for this, an expert. This is not going to fly. He definitely has...
Yeah, he was hospitalized, and, like, wasn't he out for almost, like, a full day? Or, like, 2 days or something like that? I remember it was, like, news when he woke up, and it was quite a bit longer after the actual incident.
Serious injury. And even, it's so serious, it might aggravate it up to another level. We'll talk about that. But definitely he's not going to get off on no serious injury because that's just not, there's no proof that this guy had a minor bump or something like that. No. This is real. The last is if it's an accident. So if you do an accident.
Okay, no, I said hospitalized, right? So don't even.
Touch, like you trip on somebody and then they're harmed, that would not count. So that kind of negates the willful part, right? Not on purpose. So if you have an accident, it's not on purpose. So that's where we get that. So yes, this was not an accident. He didn't trip and fall on his face 10 to 11 times. No, he punched him in the face 10 or 11 times after he was clearly not able to fight back. So yeah, that's clearly what happened there. Very brutal.
Tripping and falling on their face 11 times.
The sentencing, if it was a misdemeanor, it would be only up to 1 year or $1,000, which is really nothing. That's really a nothing burger. But that's not what they charged him with. They charged him with a felony. A felony is up to 4 years in jail and a maximum fine of $10,000. Now, I know what you're saying, Andrew. I see the title. It says up to 6 years in jail. This is clickbait. No, it's not. Let's talk about this. Because the sentencing depends on the severity and criminal history. And there's an exception. If there's what they call great bodily harm, it can go up to 6 years. So that's where we get this. If the court finds there is great bodily harm, they can tag on an extra 2 years to the maximum of the felony. So it can go up to 6.
Yeah.
What's required for that? Well, a concussion, broken bones, or contusions count. So we have a chance. I'm not 100% on whether any bones were broken. I know they were fractured. But with the
Well, to be fair, if there were fractured... Okay, listen. If there were fractured bones, that means that there was broken bones. There's no difference between a fracture and a break medically. And therefore, if there's no difference medically, you can determine severity, sure, legally. But again, you would need a medical expert for that. And again, if like even if it was a hairline fracture, I would argue, no, you broke his ankle. You pushed him, he tried to steady himself, and in response to that, he ended up breaking his ankle. Yes, it was a fracture, but a fracture is a break. A compound fracture, do you know how bad those are? They're pretty much complete breaks. A break is a compound fracture, exactly. Exactly.
concussion and the contusions, that is very much possible. We got to look at the injuries, but that's very much possible here. So yes, it is possible for up to 6 years. So with this, what do I think is going to happen? What's the reality of what's going to happen?
Concussion
well, remember,
and contusion, I think we also have. I'm pretty sure he had like, I'm pretty sure he had a split lip. I think he had a split the side of his head a little bit. I'm sure he has a concussion. You don't take 11 blows to the head and not have a concussion. So, like, I do think that great bodily harm can be proven.
He's a first-time offender. So, yes, he could face up to 6 years. And it's always possible that they want to give him a harder sentence because they want to make sure they're not light on crime, et cetera, et cetera. It's always possible. They could look at the video and say, hey, look, this was really bad. Shouldn't have done this. We're going to put this up to, you know, a greater amount. However, I do
mean, he
think
could only
that he's
get a couple
probably
years
not
in
going to
jail.
get more than a year or two maximum in prison. I do think it's a first-time offense. They're not going to throw him, you know.
Yeah,
throw him away
that's going to be, being a first-time offender is going to be definitely a mitigating circumstance to his sentencing. But, so are other things. Like, if they establish that, Raja was not in complete control of his own actions because he was suffering from a concussion. Yes, he should not have shown up at the event, but at this moment in time, he wasn't considered, like, controllable. You know, there's defenses that can be made that could also help to lighten the sentence. So we're going to have to see, but I don't think he'll get more than a couple years in jail max. Probably more closer to a year with some probation.
Put him in the jail cell and throw away the key. I think he's going to get that, at least definitely some community service. You could, of course, see it as low as a couple months. You could even see probation. But I don't think that up to 6 years is going to necessarily happen. So, yes, he's facing it. Yes, it's possible. Yes, it's on the books. But do first-time offenders get the maximum sentence? No, they don't.
Very
often
rarely,
do.
yeah.
Now, I could always be surprised. So I do want to hear what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think it's fair that he was charged with this? Do you think this is enough? Do you think that he should have been charged with a more severe charge, perhaps mayhem or something else?
Yeah, mayhem,
I want to know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.
All right, there we go. And that was Roger Jackson facing 6 years in jail. Fast facts. So yeah, I think he could have been, I think they could have definitely pursued stronger charges. I do also believe that there's a very strong possibility that he'll get off pretty lightly, because of a plea deal. I do think that he might get off light on a plea. I'm not saying it's like right or anything, I'm just saying it's definitely a possibility. Especially because he's a first-time offender. Yeah, he's a first-time offender, so yeah. So, next we have, and this is the reason why this is the reason why I had actually put the Niche of the World Who Hate Johnny song. Because apparently Johnny Somali has a potential, if he plays his cards wrong here. He is potentially risking jail for life. I don't really know how. I don't know why. That's what Andrew's going to explain for us. But apparently, depending on how Johnny Somali, RKI here, depending on how he conducts himself, what he does in the coming time as his trial rapidly approaches, yeah, he can end up fumbling so badly here, he ends up in, with a life term. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Johnny Somali, but I would say that life in a Korean prison is probably just, I don't think he's done quite enough of that. Now, that's kind of the thing, though, is he's not facing it if he behaves and he's a good boy and handles this all right. But if he reacts poorly to what's about to happen and he does certain things, he could very well end up FAFO, yeah. Also, thank you very much, Faker8, for the 5. Next thing you know, he'll be facing the death penalty. Ha ha ha, yeah. Dude, that would be insane. Like, could you imagine? Dude, you were facing, like, some obstruction of business charges and some deepfake charges, and somehow you fucked up so bad, we're just taking you out. That would, oh my god. I don't think that's gonna happen. Ever. But, still, I also didn't think that, Johnny Somali was gonna risk jail for life either. So there's some stuff to be said about that.
Johnny Somali could be jailed for life. Today on this update on the Johnny Somali, aka Ramzi Khalid Esmail case, we're going to talk about a potential path, a potential future where Johnny Somali might be facing life in prison, and that is not hyperbole. Of course, I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is Legal Minds, where we teach you to be your own judge. And this is one that I spent a last 2 weeks kind of vetting, going over. I moved the topic for the stream that's adjacent to this. And of course, this is a
this was actually, let me see as I do my like and comment thing. Yeah, it was only released yesterday. So, like, this is something that I know he's been working on for a while. I just making sure that, is this a possibility? And so the fact that Legal Mindset is coming out and saying, yeah, this is something that Johnny Somali risks if he does things wrong. Like, you need to take that with a serious consideration from the source that's coming from. Because Legal Mindset has been pretty much calling this play for play, and he's been calling it very accurately.
Facts version, if you like the brief and dirty, quick version of the latest in legal news. Make sure you smash the like button and leave a comment below. But in the live, we'll go into further details and have extra stuff. So if you want to go and check that out as well. But when I saw this come across my desk, I went out, asked the lawyers in Korea, asked people knowledgeable in this. And when I found out there's a real possibility, I needed to bring this to your attention. Now, I typically am only focusing on legal stuff, but this is a legal silver bullet that could hit Johnny Somali if he plays his cards wrong. So let's just jump right into it today with this. Of course, I have a PP. I got a PowerPoint here for you today. So as a quick update on what's coming next, because some people keep asking me wherever I go, when's the next trial? October 29th, 2025. Now, that trial will focus on 3 witnesses. We know one of them is Bong Bong. We know another is Youngman. And the last, we are pretty sure, is Hank Yu. Yes, that's right, Hank Yu. And he'll be called as a prosecution witness. In America, you sometimes call this a hostile witness. So you're bringing that person up mostly to validate evidence or validate their presence, saying, hey, is that you in this photo? Is that you in this video? So that is possible to come up in the next trial. And then you would have, of course, cross-examination. You'd have a redirect or re-examination. We also found out that Dalgoon is not testifying. So we wanted to correct that because previously we thought it was going to be Dalgoon, but actually it looks like it's going to be Hank. So that's what we got on October 29th. This is going to be a big day because remember, every single trial that we've had coming up over the past year for Johnny Somali, right before the trial, right before, whether it's 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 1 week, he's been hit with a new charge. And this has been very consistent. And all the time, especially the pro-Somali simps will say, oh, it's not going to happen. Legal Mindset's making it up. Legal Mindset's making it up. Every single time we're proven right. Now, this time it is a strong inkling, but the road really depends on what Johnny Somali does. So, and also depends on some world events. So we'll get into that today. So right now, just so you know, this is the current status. He's got 4 obstruction of business, all of which he's pled guilty to, 2 Minor Offenses Act, both of which he's pled guilty to, and he's pending the deepfakes. Really, this is about the deepfakes. And he's facing currently 12 years max under the guidelines. Now, mind you, as these additional counts pile on, if he was to get another count of obstruction, etc., it doesn't change the maximum, but it does push the minimum up closer to the max. So yes, additional counts, yes, they don't increase the max, but they increase the likely sentence. So,
are you kidding me? Okay, I'm sorry, but smoke a big bong bong, spin a young man, and deliver to the YMCA a thank you very much. Okay, that was like 3 dad jokes in a row. I might be overdosed. I'm not sure.
So his likely sentence keeps going up and up and up under the Korean sentencing guidelines. Currently, it's at 12, but we're going to talk about how it could get to life. So this is the Somali cycle. We've talked about this. If you're a fan of watching the Ramsey Khalid Ismail trial, you know about this, but it's important to kind of refresh your memory. So what used to happen with Johnny Somali is he would act out, rage would ensue, nobody would cover it, and the heat would die down, he'd escape, and then go do it again. He'd be released out of the country, etc. Well, as we've been covering it, we've been seeing him act out, rage ensues, we cover it, it goes viral, and the pressure on him increases. Now, I have said, and I can commit myself to this, that I focus on the legal parts of this, not drama, not other stuff, not Discord stuff. No, none of that. I'm focusing on the law. And today we're going to talk about the law. But what's very important here is that we are at the part in the cycle where he is very close to acting out. And there are a bunch of signals that show he's getting that itch. It's been months since his last incident, and he just can't control himself, and he's been sending some signals that he wants some attention, that he might be acting out again, and I feel that could even happen before the next trial, and that would be a massive error. We're going to talk about that today. So what are some of the factors here? Well, one of the big factors, this one ties into geopolitical events, is this immigration raid against Korean workers in Georgia. Now, why would that affect Korea? Why would that affect Johnny Somali? Let me explain this to you. So these South Korean workers in Georgia were subject to an ICE raid. And what happened with them is they were operating and working under impermissible visas. So in case you guys know, it's a little bit complicated, but people who live abroad like me and other folks know this very, very well. When you are somewhere, you need to make sure you are working under the right visa and doing the right type of work that you are authorized to do. So, for example, if you are authorized to teach English, you cannot go be a car mechanic. You are not authorized to do that. That's beyond the scope of your authorization. Now, some work authorizations are very broad. Some are more limited, like, for example, just to teaching. Others might give you more free range. And some of them, for example, say, hey, you can work remotely and do pretty much anything. So, hey, that's cool, whatever, right? And this was such a bad incident that the U.S. diplomat to Korea had to express regret over that raid, because what happens in these instances is it's tit for tat. Korea will now look, hey, how can we crack down on Americans to get back at America? Or not even saying get back. That sounds too revengeful. It's just, hey, okay, if you're going to be strict on your visas, we're going to do that too. It's equal fair treatment, right? Fair play. If you're going to crack down on Korean workers that were working under either tourist visas or other visas, which didn't really authorize them to work, hey, we're going to look at Americans in Korea and say, hey, how can we crack down on them?
Oh, yeah,
and that would be very, very easy to do. Why? Because many Americans are working in Korea either without a work visa or earning under the wrong visa. And the most likely target, the one that people have to worry about for, and I know, by the way, a lot of you watching the Somali coverage are international school. Maybe you're international school students, international school teachers. Guys, pay attention, because this is something you guys really, really, really want to know. So what I would imagine is this would be the low-hanging fruit. Everybody knows there's a bunch of teachers in Korea. That's one of the biggest professions for foreigners, particularly Americans. So the easiest thing would be to look at teachers, especially international school teachers, and say, hey, are they teaching non-permitted subjects? What does this mean? What this means is these teachers are only permitted to teach English. They're only supposed to teach English. However, some of them are doing stuff like teaching math. Maybe they're teaching, medieval swordsmanship. Maybe they're teaching some extracurricular, some other thing, history, etc. They're not authorized to do that. They're doing something beyond what they should be doing. So if Korean immigration really wanted to look hard, they would go into the schools, go into the international schools, go into others, and go knock on those doors and say, hey, look, you're not teaching what you should be teaching. They just do a random check of the schools. And that would be a big problem, because there are a lot of people doing that. And by the way, this is a very common practice. It's not a bad thing necessarily on the teachers themselves. Sometimes they're told by the schools to do it, and the schools like turn a blind eye, or they know that they're bending the rules, right? These things happen. But Korea could look at this and say, hey, that's the same thing you did to us in Georgia. We're going to do this over to you here in Seoul and Busan and Suwon, and that would be very, very bad. But what they could do instead, and I know that people who are in the Korean system, in the Korean government, in the Korean influencers, they watch my channel. I know these videos are going to get the word out there. I know people are going to spread this. What they could do is crack down on streamers instead. Right? Nuisance streamers are a huge problem. They could
do that.
And if you really want to go tit for tat and you want to make, do something that'll matter, crack down on people streaming without proper permits, without either a digital nomad.
Honestly, a crackdown on immigration in these countries is needed, sure. But targeting teachers and people who are like serving the country, right, in one form or another, I don't think is the way to do it. I think if you do want to do it correctly, absolutely go after the nuisance streamers, the people who are out there walking you guys' streets with a camera in their hand trying to cause trouble. Those people should not be in your country.
Visa or on some sort of other visa that allows for remote work, you could do that. And obviously, if you did that, who would be a clear target? Johnny Somali. He's been streaming, he's been making money, he's still, in certain ways profiting off of social media and off of social media exposure. So obviously they could go after him. Now, what would that be? Likely a fine. Maybe there could be a charge there. Immigration works separately from the criminal process, and it often doesn't want to do that much. It's kind of a little bit of, hey, we'll do something when he hits the border, but not yet. But they might feel like they need to do something to show, hey, we're doing something in response to what happened in America. So if they wanted to do that, obviously they could hit Somali with a fine. That's one thing, right? But there's another, and there's a life in prison option, and it's not from immigration. But before I get to this, make sure you hit the like button, guys.
So this would be my guess, right? My guess for how Johnny could possibly manage to get a life sentence out of this whole situation is if he tries to flee the country. And it's caught, specifically by like Korean military or something. Like if he tries to flee like through the border into North Korea or something, or even get in a boat or anything like that, I cannot imagine the country of South Korea would take that level of disrespect and obstruction to the justice system lightly. That would be now that's just my guess, what Johnny could do to land himself with life in prison. But let's see what the actual thing is.
And like the video, I put a lot of work into these, and this PowerPoint today, this research took a very, very long time. So just let me.
Okay, so you heard it here first. Andrew's been working on his PP for 2 weeks. It's been very hard.
We know you appreciate it through a like. It's free. Okay. By the way, we may or may not have cabbage burns.
Oh
coming.
shit! Okay.
Anyways.
Okay. This would do it. Didn't know they had this. The U.S. Sexual Protection Act protects children and adolescents, defines child of youth as under 19 of age, contains numerous crimes against youth, defines child youth sexual exploitation material in a way that could include the Statue of Peace. Really? Wow, okay. Yeah, he's... Oh, shit. This could be fucked.
Life in prison may happen under the Youth Sexual Protection Act. So let me tell you about this act. It protects children and adolescents. This means any child or youth that define it as under 19 years old. And I know it's different from America. America's 18, right? There's different rules. But under this act, it is 19 years old. There are numerous crimes against youth and children that are included within this parameter, within the parameters of this. And one important thing.
I mean, you just have the Latte World stuff, right? The stuff that happened at Latte World, in my opinion, would be more than enough to, like, trigger this Protection Act.
Is it defines youth and child sexual exploitation material in such a way that could include the Statue of Peace. That's right, the Statue of Peace. That is the depiction of a young girl that is 14 years old. We're going to go over, we'll get to that. And that's included. Let's read this statute in this article. Under Section 5, it says child and youth sexual exploitation material refers to material depicting a child or youth or a person or representation that can be clearly recognized as a child or youth performing any of the acts listed in each subparagraph Article 4, or performing any sexual act in the form of film, video game, image, or video through a computer. So what this means is the statue is a representation of a child. So if Johnny Somali goes out there throwing baby oil on it, right, doing a Diddy dance, calling it a Diddy party, right, and escalating, once again, he moved from kissing to grinding to dancing. If he goes out there and simulates a sexual act on this statue, which would be the clear escalation, and based on his latest post, it seems like he even intends to do this, to go out and escalate once again against this statue, that's a representation of a child. And that is something that would get you, and let's read this carefully here. I'll even make it bigger for you guys. Any person who produces, imports, or exports child, youth, sexual exploitation materials shall be punished by imprisonment for life or for a term of not less than 5 years. Not less than 5 years, guys.
Okay, so here's the thing about this, too. Typically speaking, the wording and the order of the sentencing in these laws is very important. The way that Article 11 here is worded, to me, maybe it's just translation, I'm not sure. But, like, the way that this is worded is, like, they're gonna go for life imprisonment rather than a lesser sentence. Like, they're gonna go for imprisonment for life first, and if they can't get that, they'll get you for at least 5 years. That's how that reads for me. So, like, yeah, this is a big time. They cannot, like, Johnny Somali should not be fucking around with this.
Up to life. No joke here, no exaggeration. Let's talk about this. Now, the Statue of Peace clearly represents a comfort woman who was sold into slavery by the Japanese military, and it depicts a young teenage girl. They chose to depict a 15-year-old girl to represent the victims at the time they were taken. This is a person under 19, fits the definition of the statute. At this point, there is no excuse for Johnny Somali. He knows what this represents. He said he knows what this represents. We're in the middle of the trial, so he can't deny knowledge. He's been told multiple times. He's facing crimes right now, like multiple crimes.
He can't claim ignorance here.
He knows this. So if he goes out and does this, it's with knowledge of what that represents. There's no more denying it. There's no more pretending. He's been on the record. He's been questioned about this.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for the 2 I just noticed. Faker H says he's been edging that PP. I think
multiple comments. He knows it depicts a child. So if he goes out there and does that, that would fit the definition under the statute. Now, because he knows this and he's threatened to go back, he has been reposting videos about the statue. This is why I decided to bring this up. This is why it's in my live is entitled Don't Do It, Somali, because he's thinking about doing it. It's clear he's thinking about going to that statue for clout. And the news cycle is getting to where he would act out of attention, whether for clout or boredom, whatever, right? And you can see here. Now, I would encourage none of you to go to his social media. Do not feed the troll. I just clipped out what is important for you. So you guys do not have to go here. Do not feed him. Do not give him views. Do not do any of that. But you see what he's posting here. I asked Korean girls what they think of the comfort statue. And then my tribute at the Statue of Peace in Itaewon, right? So he's clearly, and he's reposting these. These are videos that he's choosing to repost just now in the past week or two.
Can't.
So what this symbolizes is
issue,
he is thinking about that statue. He's thinking real hard about that statue and what he can do for attention, what he can do for clout, what he can do to get back on the map.
The question is, are the intrusive thoughts going to win?
Get everybody's attention again. This is something he is thinking about because he is choosing to repost these specific videos. Very, 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 very problematic. Now, if he goes to the statue and escalates his behavior, particularly simulating a sexual act, the prosecutors...
I want to remind everybody that kissing in public can be considered in Korea. And now I might be wrong on this. JP Raidenfire, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but is the act of kissing considered a sexual act in Korea? I think it is, but I might be wrong on that. But that means that if he goes back to that statue and just kisses it, I think that would be construed as a sexual act.
Or judge could add this charge. Now, to be very fair, this is a creative and new charge, but it is possible. So what I'm saying is, when I spoke to Korean lawyers, to the lawyers in Korea, to people with knowledge of the criminal system, they were like, wow, this is a possibility. However, it's creative. He would be certainly the first foreigner charged with it, but it's possible. The way the statute reads, it's possible. It's possible. And if you push the judge and you show, and you're pushing Korea, you're pushing them at a point in which you really shouldn't be pushing. A point at which, hey, if you just went another way, you went another path, and we'll talk about that today. There's another path for Johnny that he could do. If you went that other path, it would be one thing. But if you go down this path, you go down this bad path, you're looking at up to life or 5 years. And before I do that, let's just talk about this. And I was thinking about the good and the bad path, in light of the Charlie Kirk incident, obviously very, very unfortunate. But I was watching some of the clips from his funeral. And, I was inspired, especially by Erica Kirk, to say, even for Johnny Somali, let's give him one last chance to choose the good path or the bad path. Right?
Yeah, and I mean for real though, because think about that. Life in prison. Not just life in prison. Life in a Korean prison. Johnny Somali is an asshole. He is a nuisance. He is a genuine parasite for society, but he has not done anything to the degree for me to justify putting him, a foreigner, in a Korean prison for life. But again, this is really on him. If he decides, knowing what is going to happen, what could happen to him, if he plays the tape forward in his head and decides to make the choice to go back to that statue and perform any act that could be considered sexual, at this point, yes, I wish the best for him. I wish that he would stop being retarded. But I'm not going to lose sleep because his choices landed him in prison for life.
Everyone has a choice. And maybe Johnny even has one good person that's still speaking to him. And maybe he has one good person in his life. I don't know who that is. I don't know who it is. Maybe he has one good person that can still talk to him and say, Ramsey, save yourself. And this is my honest opinion here, is his chance to save himself or to doom himself really comes down to, is he going to end up doing this, acting out, doing something else? Because if he chooses to do this, he is going down a dark and bad path, a very dark and bad path. And we all have to choose between light and darkness. And this is his time, Ramsey, to choose the light path. And what is the light path? The light path here is you're better off changing your plea to guilty, admitting fault, sincerely atone, no fake apologies, no fake stuff, no sarcasm, nothing else, and back it up by actions. And I know, we all know, that it's really hard to go down this path, especially for a person like him, especially for a person who said the hardest thing, this is a Somali quote, he said the hardest thing for him is to apologize. Well, guess what? That's what needs to happen for you to choose that path. Yeah. And even if it takes destroying your old personas, destroying your old characters and creating a new character, that's the good character, right? You've got to go down that path if you want to save yourself. And this is something that I find incredibly credible because this was information that was filtered to me by sources that are probably coming from within Korea. And trust and believe that my information, every time I've gotten something, it's because people are thinking about it. And they are thinking, this is possible. We could do this. Should we do this? Right? And if he chooses that path to go out there and harass that statue again and to commit an act on that statue, it is not going to be good. It's going to be very, 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 very bad. So we'll see whether or not he does that. Now, cabbage merch is coming, guys. So I just want to let that know at the end of this, a little bit of fun fact, a fun part about the end. But beyond that, I'm going to be covering the trial as it develops. Obviously, if there's any other big legal developments, I'll be on those. We will do a little bit of prep for the Somali trial at least a week or so before that in October, but we'll see what happens here today. I want you to know what you guys think in the comments below.
Judgment.
Do you think Johnny Somali will go?
Hold on, Devastator Game, by the way, welcome. I've come to cast judgment. He will receive multiple charges and be in a minimum for 10 years. Enjoy my preemptive BS call. Well, I mean, he's facing a max of 12. So, 10 is not honestly beyond the realms of possibility with what he is facing. So honestly, I think I've been saying 7 to 10 at this point. Still closer to 5, maybe 5 to 10, 5 to 7. Because here's the thing, he is a foreigner and stuff, and while all these are bad, they're really, I don't know. It's gonna be up to Johnny. If Johnny decides to actually act respectful and contrite to the court and to the people of South Korea, he won't be looking at an incredibly long time. But I think no matter what, he's looking at least a few years. Even if they were to go easy on him, quote unquote. I think, oh, Steam crashed on your end? Francis Karma? Is everybody else here? It says it's fine. Hold on. Now we gotta do things. Live streaming. It says it is here. Yeah, it's working. Sorry, Francis, that was on you. I did get one guy. Look, that happens all the time. It's fine. Okay, so we do have to move on to, I think it was the memory error people were getting. Oh yeah, that does happen. That happens to me even, so. Okay, you know what? Mix Skittles and Purple and Devil's Advocate. You guys are all mean. Okay, so this next one we have is a massive mail-in voter fraud exposed, caught stuffing the Dropbox. I'm not sure what this is about, but apparently there's a Michigan lawmaker who's currently being investigated for voter fraud charges. And we are going to check that out.
New video obtained by Local 4 shows a black pickup truck pulling up outside Hamtramck City Hall in the middle of the night, just days before the primary election. All of a sudden, the lights turn on inside the truck. That's when you spot 3 men inside, including what appears to be Councilmember Abu Musa in the back seat, the same council member who is seeking re-election right now. The video then shows the driver getting out and stuffing absentee ballots into the drop box. The only problem? They don't all fit.
A few moments later.
It's the evening of August 1st, 3 days before Hamtramck's primary election, and a car is seen pulling up to the Hamtramck ballot box, depositing 3 large stacks of ballots. In the passenger seat is who appears to be City Councilman Abu Musa, who is currently up for re-election.
A few moments later.
2 members of Hamtramck City Council facing a judge today in a case of election fraud. Both men are accused of forging signatures on absentee ballots in a tight general election.
So the election fraud that never happens has happened again, where an election seemingly has been stolen because people were stuffing a ballot box with fake votes. Let's talk about it.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, before we get started, I find it hilarious that under this video they have this banner that talks about how great mail-in ballots are and how secure they are. But
yeah, look at this, look at this, look at this. It is funny. So as you can see right here, voting by mail, bipartisan policy center. Mail ballots submitted by voters who meet eligibility and validity requirements are counted in every election. Before they are counted, election officials vigorously verify the validity of every mail ballot submission. Now I will say, oh hey, we're not doing that. Okay, we're good. Now I will say, they did discover this voter fraud, right? He's in front of a judge, he's answering to what they have likely discovered. So this is not the Labubu. No Labubu. No Labubu. No Labubu.
I'm about to show you the facts and where some politicians in Michigan stole elections by fraudulently stuffing the ballot box with fraudulent votes through mail-in ballots. Now, that's my specialty here. I like to cover the stories that the mainstream media ignores because
Yeah, here's something that's interesting. I did not hear about this story until NateTheLawyer covered it.
Think you need to know. And if this is one of those stories you like, don't forget to hit that subscribe button because the only way you're going to get these stories is if you're subscribed to the channel. Or you can continue to let the mainstream media tell you how mail-in ballots are 1000% safe and there's nothing to see here. Click the button and let's go on this ride.
Okay, whoa. Oh, Jesus. Mail-in ballots are not 100% safe. Neither is just about any form of voting. But it's a matter of statistics and scale. So we're gonna see. I do believe this happened, and I do believe it's similar to the 10,000. What was it? 10,000 ballot, absentee ballot. I remember there was a scandal of voter fraud that actually happened with Arizona Republicans involving like 10,000 absentee ballots that were not valid. They weren't properly signed for or whatever. So like, again, this does happen, and it happens especially, I will say, in local elections. But that does not necessarily mean it's widespread and happening everywhere in national elections. It's a little bit of a higher bar there.
All right, welcome to Hamtramck, Michigan, which is a very interesting place. Hamtramck is found within the city of Detroit. Essentially, it's a city within a city. Now, the city has about 28,000 citizens, and it is extremely diverse. Now, Hamtramck is famous because it's the first...
I'm looking that one up, Purple X Compile, because they said that there was a California voter, and their dog voted. But the only evidence that's presented is somebody put their I voted sticker on their dog and took a picture. Like a white woman's Instagram post is responsible for that accusation. I've been looking into it. I can't find any actual verifiable proof that a dog voted and the vote was counted in an election. I can't find that.
First Muslim majority city in the United States. Now, some estimates have that about 44% of Hamtramck's population is foreign born. Now, the city historically leans Democrat in most federal elections. For instance, it went for Harris over Trump in the last presidential election, and the city leadership has always been Democrat. All right, now let's go back to 2023. August primary election, and 3 council seats are available. Now, the way they run their elections here is a little different. See, they have a primary, which is the top 6 finishers, then go on to the general election. And in the general election, the top 3 finishers become council members to fill those 3 vacant council seats. Now, 2 men, Mohsen Sadman and Mohammed Hussein, were running for city council and ran in the primary.
And by the way, I will say too, because in the end, this is the thing, the federal government requires that every state create rules for their elections, but it doesn't necessarily have any guidelines for those rules. So you can get dramatically different rules for especially local and general elections, like just from state to state. Like I'm talking like night and day differences.
In that election, they came in 4th and 5th. They weren't in the top 3, but they were still in the top 6 that led them to the general election. Now, in the general election, they went from 4th and 5th place to 1st and 3rd place, winning a seat on the council.
In 2023. And interestingly, when you take a look at the results of the primary, only the top 3 candidates, they would have won. These two came in 4th and 5th. But in the general election, somehow the voters had a big change and they came in 1st and 3rd.
Now, authorities started checking and saw that it was the mail-in ballots that made the difference. But when authorities started looking at those mail-in ballots, they noticed some very interesting things.
The allegation stemming from the 2023 election. That's when the city clerk noticed unusual patterns with absentee ballots, including identical handwriting on envelopes and large bundles dropped off at once.
Now, authorities started looking into what was going on at Hamtramck, and they found that some of the city councilors may be serving illegally because they don't even live in a city.
At the April 25th Hamtramck City Council meeting, a private investigator revealed using public records, surveillance, and GPS tracking that council members Muhith Mahmood lives in Troy and Abu Musa lives in Warren.
The investigation revealed substantial discrepancies between the candidates whom sworn affidavits and independent investigative findings.
At Tuesday's meeting, both Mahmood and Musa argued that while they do have second homes in those communities, they live in Hamtramck.
My W-2 since 2011.
Now, I am going to point out here that part of this being exposed so quickly, because apparently this is the 2023 election, right? We're a couple years since 2023. The investigations like this take a long amount of time. They're now in front of a judge, though, and this is actually being adjudicated. So I will say that this video and this event that's happening is a demonstrable that our checks and balances when it comes to voter verification and stuff like that is working. Because we found these guys pretty much almost immediately, and we spent a couple years investigating them before presenting our findings so a judge could rule on it. But again, this is telling me that widespread voter fraud is hard to commit because it's so quickly jumped on, even on the local level.
In Hamtramck address, and my all other things, my insurance, my car, everything in Hamtramck.
Mayor Pro Tem Khalil Rafai said that there's not enough evidence for any action right now, and the city council voted against removing either Musa or Mahmood.
Now, you saw here Councilman Musa holding up papers saying, I live here in Hamtramck, I live here in Hamtramck. Well, he's also running for re-election city council, and things weren't going too great. Now, because there were some issues earlier with people dropping off strange things at the drop box, the city put a camera at the drop box to see who was coming and put.
See, that actually makes sense because I remember we were having, around that time. What? Evo flashbang? What happened? I remember around at this time, 2023, 2024, we were having instances where people were like setting fire to ballot boxes and stuff like that. And in response to that, many election runners and stuff actually installed cameras at ballot box locations to make sure that they could hold, accountability to people who decide to firebomb a fucking ballot box.
Putting things in there. And this is what the cameras caught.
It's the evening of August 1st, 3 days before Hamtramck's primary election, and a car is seen pulling up to the Hamtramck ballot box, depositing 3 large stacks of ballots. In the passenger seat is who appears to be City Councilman Abu Musa, who is currently up for re-election. Michigan State Police confirmed they've had this video as they investigate Musa and another councilman for questions around their residency and other accusations.
But now, don't be shocked. They actually caught them doing this again.
New video obtained by Local 4 shows a black pickup truck pulling up outside Hamtramck City Hall in the middle of the night, just days before the primary election. All of a sudden, the lights turn on inside the truck. That's when you spot 3 men inside, including what appears to be Councilmember Abu Musa in the back seat, the same council member who is seeking re-election right now. The video then shows the driver getting out and stuffing absentee ballots into the drop box. The only problem? They don't all fit. He then starts pushing them in before reaching for 2 more stacks. The whole time looking around to see if anyone is watching. After about 2 minutes, the group drives away.
Now, when you look at the vote totals, Massa was the #1 person in the primary, getting 1,129 votes. But the vast majority of them, over 800 of those votes, came from absentee mail-in ballots. Only 286 people actually voted for him on election day in person. Now, before we get too crazy with this, is vote harvesting illegal in Michigan? Is it illegal to just go and take hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots from one place?
Because there are, vote harvesting. It depends on the state, but that could be legal or that could be not. And maybe he's vote harvesting and that's legal. But the issue is the identical signatures and stuff on the absentee ballots, and the fact that such a huge discrepancy, 800 of the 1,100 people who voted for him came in via absentee ballot. Again, this is a small county, clearly. There's not a whole lot of voting going on. It's still far below the number of voter fraud that was going on in Arizona. But it clearly does happen. But I want to point out that, like, they've been on this and they've been calling it out, showing videos, fucking... I don't know. I feel like this is just an instance of the system catching someone trying to game the system, and that person now having to find out after fucking around.
Place and deposit them in a ballot box. What is the law in this state?
Well, in case you're wondering whether or not it's illegal to drop off multiple ballots to a ballot box, well, it is, unless it's for an immediate family member.
Are you able to return more than one ballot, I guess is the question.
There you go. Okay, so in Oregon, unless you're an authorized individual, like you're like somebody like at Sandpiper retirement community, right? But in Oregon, you cannot just roll up to a ballot box and have a shitload of ballots that don't belong to you. You know, even if you're just submitting them for somebody on their behalf. In the state of Oregon, that is not legal. And we clearly saw that happening on those 2 videos. So the councilman or whoever was doing this for the councilman or whatever, they definitely were not in line with the letter of the law in this state.
And if so, whose are you able to actually return?
So you can, but there's a big caveat as to whose ballot you can return. It's an immediate family member, or if you cohabitate with somebody. It doesn't have to be in a romantic way, right? Yep. But that you cohabitate with someone.
The authorized person. So that means again, like I could send in my dad's absentee ballot if I wanted to, because I live with him, he's immediate family. So yeah, you can't just, it's multiple stacks of absentee ballots. How many people you live with, man? How much family you have? I can see why this was a problem and why this was caught so fast.
You can return their ballots, their absentee ballots for them.
To be fair, Francis Karma, this is a politically charged video and stuff, so just try to really tame your language, because the auto mod is kind of ridiculous.
It's unclear whose ballots were being returned in this video.
Yeah, maybe they're returning hundreds of their family members' absentee ballots all at one time. People who they live with. Well, authorities did some more digging and started making some arrests. First, remember the first 2 council members who miraculously won the general election after essentially losing the primary? Well, they were arrested for voter fraud.
Well, we know a lot. We know the 2 current city council people right here in Hamtramck, they are charged with voter fraud. Let me tell you who they are, first of all. Mohammed Hassan, 57 years old. He's been on the council for a while. Fairly well-known person here in Hamtramck. But he's charged with 3 counts of forging signatures on absentee ballots.
Thank you for the 5. No, I very much like that you put... Look, the issue is... A big problem that I had was... people bringing up that, hey, voting fraud is a thing and happens, and then people pushing back with, no, it never happens. It does happen. It doesn't happen on his white scale of, as I would say some people think, but it does happen, but it's also caught. So I do very much, because I didn't see this video like being covered by like any mainstream media. Like even Fox News, here, this looks like local news. This does not look like any major like nationwide media outlet actually covered this. So thank you very much again for putting this video together. And thank you for the vibe too.
Ballots. And then the other one, Matasan Sadman, 26 years old. He's charged with 5 counts, basically phoning up signatures on absentee ballots.
Okay, so you know what's really funny? I was looking through Nate the Lawyer videos to react to today, and then I saw your Twitter, Nate, and I saw you post this and go like, why is no one talking about this? And I'm like, there's no one talking about this? And then I looked down, I'm like, no one. No, there's no one fucking talking about that. I mean, in all the freaking stuff that's going on right now, how this just kind of went under the radar is kind of crazy.
And Mutasin Sadman arraigned in court on Tuesday.
Mail-in voting is not as secure as they make it seem because, as you've been seeing with the videos, they were stuffing the ballot box like it was a turkey on Thanksgiving. They were putting votes in there. And as you can see from the vote tallies, it worked because their mail-in votes were, what, 4 times more than the votes on election day?
Okay, yeah, look at that. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Look, oh Jesus Christ. Look at the ratio discrepancy. Between everybody else, it's within a couple hundred, right? This guy is like literally 4 times as much, or 3 times as much. Are you kidding? That is, yeah, that math is, even on a spreadsheet, you can see there's a problem there.
Which is a little unusual. Now, let me unpack this real quick. You had 2 councilmen who were essentially charged with voter fraud. They're innocent until proven guilty, but they're charging them with voter fraud. Then you have 2 other councilmen, one who was caught on camera getting in the car stuffing ballots. They haven't been charged yet.
Oh,
but authorities are looking into.
I love the shot of him, like he's leaning forward and he's like looking, and you just got this still of him just looking guilty in the car. It's so good.
Them and whether they even live in the city that they're serving on the city council for, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But at the end of the day, do you think this election was stolen? Do you think that them stuffing this ballot box is illegal? I'm going to say it. I think the state's got a pretty good case. Now, if you think these men are 100% innocent, this is just some total misunderstanding. Hey, they went to a nursing home and got a whole bunch of mail-in ballots, and that's what they were doing. They were doing... Okay.
That's super fucking funny. Whoa, what happened? Oh no, what happened? What in the world? It just totally failed on me there. There we go. Okay, so it's super funny that you mentioned the nursing home thing, because I said, I'm like, what? Did he go to Sandpiper retirement home and get a bunch of, I actually mentioned that too. Now, here's the thing, Meteoric, I will say too. Were the votes themselves fake? Perhaps not, but the issue is it's not legal to submit absentee ballots in the manner that these people clearly did. And so in the light of that, fact, and the fact that the law in this state, Michigan, I think it was, is very clear on who can actually submit absentee ballots on behalf of another person, I do think that these guys are kind of these guys are in hot water, because regardless of whether or not the votes are valid or not, the method of submission wasn't, and that the method of submission was actually against Michigan state law, which again, states are allowed to create their own elections and their process for those elections, including stuff like this, like regulation. Can racism be made illegal? Phoenix Fire, what the hell? Oh, man. Oh, okay. Basically, illegal submissions shouldn't count whether they are real or fake. Well, this is the issue with something like voter fraud when it happens. Because now you have potentially hundreds of people who did vote and wanted to vote that way, but their vote might not be counted because of the illegal actions of the person who was representing them. The person that they voted for, rather. So now you have a headache of a mess to sort out here, and it's only gonna happen through whatever comes out in trial. I don't know what Michigan's process for this is. Do they, what they probably call a special election to replace the people and stuff like that? Look, there's a lot of questions here. But I do think, with what evidence we have been shown, this is an instance of mail-in voter fraud happening. Like, right here. Yes, it was caught, and yes, it's being dealt with, but it is an actual demonstration that, hey, mail-in voting is not always foolproof. And I think that's really the main point of the video that's being made.
God's work. They were helping people out. If you believe that, let me know in the comment section, because I think these guys are crooks and are getting caught and are likely going to do some jail time if somebody starts really looking into this. Because if Michigan law says you can only take mail-in ballots for people who you cohabitate with or people who you're romantically involved with or family members or something like that, then these guys dumping these ballots into that ballot box, they better hope that those ballots were people who were related to them or people they lived with. Because
you know what'd be actually really funny? Look, and I'm not gonna say I'm not racist. That's just racism in itself. But no, it would be hilarious if they're like, no, we actually live with all those people. The investigator goes to the house, right? It's a giant warehouse, and yes, there's like 300 people in there, like cohabited. Like, oh my god, okay. Yeah, this is not good for these guys. I think these guys are definitely guilty of some shady behavior here. At the very least, definitely guilty of stuffing mail-in ballots with absentee ballots that, like, from people that they did not live with. I'm sorry, I don't think they live with hundreds of people. What's nice is, because of how votes are counted and collected and stuff like that, those bundles are going to be seen. Well, look, this bundle of 50 absentee ballots came in at the same time. Why? Because he was stuffing them stack to stack. If you really wanted to try to stuff a ballot box and have it be where it wasn't, like, super obvious, one, I'd break it up into multiple trips. And I would do it one at a time. I wouldn't try to stuff giant stacks of absentee ballots into a fucking ballot box. Jesus, guys. We all live in the same asylum. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so now we have, we're going to be moving on to something a little more adventurous. I have gotten into this creator. His name is Josh the Intern. I'm going to give you guys the link to his channel, actually, in my chat. And you can also check out the description down below. It should link this video specifically and his channel. But this right here, bam, Josh the Intern. This guy basically finds, like, old ruins and, like, weird things on Google Earth, and then he fucking goes there. And he makes videos on it, and I've like, this is just one of the more recent ones that we're gonna react to, but I'm gonna say right now, like, I've gotten addicted to this channel. Like, I've seen several of his videos, and they're all pretty good. So without further ado, let's get into Josh the Intern, exploring the world's deadliest Google Earth discovery. Apparently he found some bones. So let's check it out. Oh, also,
While exploring Google Earth, I spotted this massive structure hidden deep in a remote mountain forest. It's clearly man-made, but I have no idea what it could be or why it's out here in the middle of nowhere. And online, I couldn't find a single piece of information about it. So I decided to go on an adventure to find out what it was and why it was built in such an isolated location. But this
I unironically want to do shit like this. Like, straight up. The problem is, there's no ancient ruins in the United States, really. I mean, I think there's a few sites, but, like, the places he goes is, like, South America. He's been all over the, like, Europe and the UK and stuff. Like, he'll find ancient castles and stuff. But, like, there's not a whole lot of that kind of stuff from like, 1400 AC, you know?
And he turned into something far crazier than I ever expected. Because there's a dark reason this site has stayed hidden for so long.
Oh shit, he looks like he's in an old church. Maybe an old mission.
And I was about to find out the hard way. I don't think I should be here.
You are alone.
Oh my goodness, good morning everyone
Yo,
from
what the
rural
fuck?
Georgia.
Oh, you're in Georgia, okay. He's in okay, never mind. Okay, he found a place. Guys, he found a place and it looks dark and foul. I know some places that are gems. Desert stuff to be found in cave stuff, yeah. Yeah, well, luckily, I guess I was wrong. Like, because I'm like, oh, America doesn't have any of these cool things, right? And then he's like, yeah, I'm in Georgia. Check it out. They're like, okay, fine, you proved me wrong, God.
I'm a little nervous about today's hike, honestly. First, I would make my way up into the mountains, where the known trail would soon run out, and I'd be forced to find my own way through the dense forest, until I could reach the strange structure I spotted on Google Earth. I had no idea if this was even possible, or that along the...
So this means, look, we can narrow down what might be over there quite a bit more, though, because of where it is. I mean, this means that you're looking at, which Georgia? There's like 3. Wait, country of Georgia or state? Hold on, let's find out. It doesn't really say. Okay, he said monk, so I'm thinking country of Georgia. I'm gonna go with country of Georgia. Let's go back just a bit.
Location. But this journey turned into something far crazier than I ever expected. Because there's a dark reason this site has stayed hidden for so long. And I was about to find out the hard way. I don't think I should be here.
Dude, you're dealing with some, like...
Oh my goodness, good morning everyone from rural Georgia. So I am a little nervous about today's hike, honestly. First, I would make my way up into the mountains, where the known trail would soon run out, and I'd be forced to find my own way through the dense forest, until I could reach the strange structure I spotted on Google Earth. I had no idea if this was even possible, or that along the way I'd come across a dark discovery that would change everything. I've also got my stick of destiny and protection, because there's bears and snakes and wolves as well. So I've brought the hover air with me. I am solo on this adventure, so the follow feature is going to really help get some epic shots. Here is where things are going to start getting remote. This smaller one is going to weave up into the mountains. That is where our structure is, hidden somewhere in the forest. Seems like a good place to cross.
Sonic gave you a fork for your ice cream, are you kidding me? You should sue.
Warming up the old joints in the morning. This is when I'm gonna have to start keeping an eye out though for like brown bears. Just gotta make lots of noise. Ooh. Kind of sounds like a wolf actually. I might call a group of wolves to me if I keep doing that. I'd been hiking for hours, and thanks to the good quality trail, I'd managed to reach a very remote point of the mountain range. Getting steeper. But what I didn't realize was that this path was about to lead me straight into a terrifying discovery. Just for here in the trees, I can see a structure. Can you see it? Sat in the rock. But this is when things started to go wrong. The trail began heading in the wrong direction. The structure should have been the only thing out here. So if this path wasn't taking me there, something else had to be hidden in these mountains. Really starting to feel remote out here. Which raised a chilling question. What was this trail really leading to? It looks like we are opening out into a clearing now. Oh my word, a horse. I hope it's just a horse and not a dog with it. Hiya, mate.
I'll not bother you, don't worry. But unfortunately,
Yeah, Georgia
he
has the
was
appellation
joined by a
known.
dog. Dogs are by far the biggest danger to hikers in Georgia. Hey, stay back. There have been many incidents of hikers being mauled by dogs in remote areas. Ah, man. Hey, back. Yeah, I've been attacked by dogs before that seem friendly and then aren't. Mate, I don't know if you're friendly. You're wagging your tail. Are we good? I got a rock just in case.
He's
if I go
collared
into his
and
area,
he's
he could
friendly.
switch on me. He could switch on me right now, and I am remote, and that's not what I want. But right now...
Okay, look, if you are a hiker, you should learn dog body language then. If this is an issue, honestly, one, if the dog was hell-bent on attacking you, it would be a surprise, and then suddenly you'd be fighting. He's let himself be known, he's keeping his distance, he's wagging his tail, he's not doing anything that would tell me that he is a threat right now. And trust me, the dog's body language is going to change if you suddenly become a territorial threat, or if you suddenly become an issue for that dog, it's gonna let you know. I will guarantee you that most hikers who run into dogs and they get into trouble, they don't recognize those signs, and then they end up getting fucked up. I have seen dogs like... I have seen dogs that he is concerned about, but again, it's the body language.
Right now he's friendly, and he's leading me down the trail.
My sister's dog looks like the friendliest dog in the world until the instant attacks. I mean, there are like 3 big body language things that happen when a dog is about to attack I'd have to see.
Just make sure he keeps his distance. It's just a shame. Usually I'm not like this with dogs. I love dogs, but I just don't want to get bitten. He's taking me down to... This looks like a camp. I don't think I should be here. These camps is exactly what I was told to avoid because of the dogs. See here, little place people are living. Gamajoba? Just,
You are alone.
I felt like I had stumbled into a place I really shouldn't be. And although the dog seemed to be friendly, I wasn't sure if the man was. I planned to leave right away, but first I did want to take a look inside the church. But I had no idea just how terrifying things were about to get. So we've come up to an old monastery, and someone is living here on site. I found a small entrance in here. Look at the carvings. My goodness, so beautiful.
That's
it looks so
beautiful
ancient.
work.
Let's head inside. Check this out. Wait, what?
Yo, what the fuck?
My heart was racing. I had just found a room filled with human bones, and I was completely isolated out here in the middle of nowhere, miles away from anyone who could help. I needed to get out of here fast, but as I made my way to leave, the man suddenly reappeared. So I tried to act calm and make some conversation. How old is the church?
7th century and 40th century.
Okay.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay, so it was a church that was built in the 7th century, and it operated until the 14th century, and then that was when it was taken, you know, it was done. Bring a rosary when you're out traveling, yeah.
You live here and you keep it clean and wow.
He's a monk.
Is that okay? Thank you. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Oh. Madloba is correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. No, it's okay. Thank you so much. Do you live here all year? Winter, summer? Wow. So
he's a
in
hermit,
winter,
yeah.
The snow is very hot.
Oh yeah, dude, good catch. Look at that. That's super funny that you caught that. But I did notice that right here when you said Templars.
That's amazing.
Interesting.
Wow. I'd love that.
It is here honey.
Ah, from here. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. Look at
Dude, this guy, dude. Okay, look, this is my life. Like genuine if I just decide to walk into the forest and live a life of just freaking forest whimsy, this is what you would find. You would find me in some old fucking bus that I've built and attached to, and I'm keeping bees to make honey and yeah, I'm totally about this life right now. That's badass.
This. Oh.
Flag of Georgia, gotcha.
Are you sure? This is
the flag of Georgia looks like
really
some Templar
kind.
shit, just saying.
Wow. Will you join me? You will also join me? Yeah? Okay. This is incredible.
Where are you from?
I'm from Ireland. Irlandia. Yes.
I was rugby player.
Me too. What position? In the scrum? Scrum? Wow. Me,
7 and 6.
Really? So fast? Oh, me too.
Oh, that's really cool.
I like Ireland national team.
Oh.
And South Africa.
Yeah. New Zealand.
His English is actually pretty good.
Zealand,
Yes,
no.
he's
You
very
don't like-
hospitable. But look, this is something that, typically speaking, if you're not coming as like a big tour group or something like that, the locals, and even if there's only one local, will be very hospitable. When when we sailed through Sea of Cortez, we were doing so in the middle of the pandemic, so there wasn't really like big tour groups or anything around, and so we got the hospitable treatment from the people we did see because they weren't being overwhelmed with like a tourist season. So yeah, this kind of stuff is, I wouldn't say like expected, but don't be surprised if someone's like comes out and like just decides to feed you. That shit will happen.
South Africa and Ireland.
The Springboks, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Like this? Oh, you show me. Wow, a lot. Ah, madlabanan. Okay.
Damn, that looks really good.
Seriously good honey. Amazing place for lunch. Wow. There you go. Do many people come here? Not so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude.
It's your children.
Oh, you have children?
Oh, cute kittens in here. Wow.
Oh my god, oh my god.
It's
Oh my... Okay. This guy. Dude, this guy. Do you understand, guys? This is amazing. This is the best.
good life. This is really good. Really, really good.
He's got little kittens. It's so cute.
Hey, you must. Really? Madlaba. Wow.
Oh, he just gave you
That
some.
is
Oh,
Madlaba,
dude,
really.
that's all, dude. That is one of the coolest freaking.
So I'm getting shown around.
That
Thank you
I
so
mean,
much.
Okay, you're being shown around. That's cool.
Here's some of
Okay,
the old
that's actually
stones
cool.
here.
Look, wait. He's like the hermit freaking monk that's maintaining this site, right? If he gives you a tour, you better go on that fucking tour, because he's gonna know more about this area than most people.
So beautiful. Such an ancient looking writing.
Mong.
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's a morgue.
this
Okay,
is the
that
way.
makes sense.
Thank you. Here you got writing and a sort of ram carving. Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
This is like a small room. Cut this door, I will not open it. If it's closed, it's meant to be closed. Really incredible church here. There's one more entrance to check out. Wow, look at this.
Wow, look at
We're in the
that.
basement of the church now. Oh my word. It just has such an ancient feel to it. This church had gone from being one of the scariest to one of the most wholesome experiences I've ever had. All thanks to this
Yeah, I'm not gonna
incredibly kind
lie.
man. But he wasn't done helping.
The the gear shift from like, oh my god, I just found bones in this fucking old church, to I'm getting fed honey and bread and coffee from this like kind old monk It's such a gear shift. It's hilarious.
Me yet, because he then suggested an even better route I could take to reach the structure I'd found on Google Earth. We are...
If you go here...
Yeah, faster.
And very, very beautiful.
Oh, okay.
See, this guy actually knows how to get to that structure.
What's your name?
Bam, that's
Josh.
so cool.
Archie. Josh.
Archie.
Archie.
Bye. What an absolute legend.
That was so cool.
Okay. Oh my goodness, a lot to unpack there. I'll be honest, I came into that situation pretty nervous. When I saw the bones in the church, I was like, what on earth have I stumbled into? And then Archie just sat me down. We had coffee. He then gave me the entire pot of honey that he's made himself. Unbelievably friendly. He was saying that in Georgia, they welcome and love tourists. I'm really quite blown away by that interaction. And now let's continue on our hike. And I think from here on out, things is gonna get pretty wild, but I trust Archie. He told me to go this way, so I'm going this way. Let's see how this goes. We still got to reach that structure. I do also gotta say, Archie drinks rocket fuel. That coffee is wild. I got the jitters right now. He is really giving me the energy to do this hike. Oh, I'm just still really feeling the glow of that interaction. What a lovely human being. But that glow would soon disappear because things were starting to get pretty wild on trail. Archie, where have you taken me? Am I still even following a trail? I'll go to high ground, see if I can find a trail again. Oh, this looks like something, doesn't it? I just gotta be super careful not to lose it like I just did. Oh my word. Look at this.
You're on something.
For context, this is where I am, surrounded by nothing but dense forest stretching for miles in every direction. I had no map and no navigation app to follow. So if I lost this path, then I'd be completely stranded out here. So I had to be very careful. There is no record of this trail. I'm so glad Archie pointed this out. I would have never known this is here. This is an adventure.
It's a good trail, though.
The hike was going surprisingly smooth now, thanks to the trail opening up a bit. And I was making some real solid progress towards the structure I'd found on Google Earth. But what I didn't realize was that this was just the calm before the storm. I want to get the hover air up. I think I found the perfect spot to do a bird's eye shot. Let's get this thing up and show you how remote I am. Genuinely love how easy this thing is to use.
Look at that.
You get incredible shots from this tiny little camera. And I just love all the presets you can use as well on it.
Ski mode, cycling, hover, zoom out, follow.
I just want to show you how well the follow feature works. Totally hands-free, no controller needed, and it will be able to pick its way through the forest. There it is, following me. I can't believe that. Whoa, I need to focus on not falling though. Put your palm out, comes back to you. Literally just fits in the pocket. For hiking adventures, really it's cool. The perfect drone. So if you guys are interested in checking it out for yourself, head to the link in the description. Go grab yours for your next adventure. And a huge thank you once.
I'm sorry. There. I had to take that out for
again
later.
To Hover Air for sponsoring this video and making this adventure possible. Absolute legends. Anyway, let's continue on because we still got a strange structure to check out. Coming up beside a river now. Just gotta find a way across it. And then we shouldn't be too far from the structure. I think I can see a bridge I can cross down there. That is super duper handy. Oh, here we go. Thank you very much, whoever made this. I wonder how much of the trail is Archie's doing. We are leaving the shade of the trees now. Things are only gonna get wilder and more remote. Around here is where the structure is. Still a lot more hiking to do. And it didn't take long until I was back out of the intense sun, which honestly was a real relief. But that relief didn't last long because things were about to get wild. I think I might be able to see the structure. It's cool to get visuals on it for the first time. Definitely man-made. The question is, what on earth would you build all the way out here? Coming down into the base of the valley now. This almost looks like a trail. We'll head this way and hope. Oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I've just come into such a lush area now. Look at those leaves, they're humongous. Let's cross this river. Boom, river crossing pro at this stage. I was finally closing in on the mysterious structure I'd spotted on Google Earth, but I had no idea just how brutal things were about to get.
It's a beautiful forest I'm in. Also a perfect area for bears. Hence why I'm vlogging and vlogging quite loudly. Don't want any collaborations with a bear in this video.
It's about to get wild.
Seem to have lost the trail a bit. I'll go this way though. This is sort of the way to the mountain, I think. Not really sure at this point. Whew.
What if he's gonna?
Trail's starting to get pretty
sometimes
steep.
he doesn't find them.
At the top of the mountain is that structure. I just hope I'm actually going up the right mountain. I don't really know now. This overgrown trail isn't ideal for avoiding snakes. I am not sure if I'm going the right way.
I think it's a few hours away, but I'm not far away from the Donner Party site.
Well, if this is even leading me up the right mountain. So I'm gonna get the drone up, hopefully see where the structure is and see if this is even taking me there. I think I can see it. I think I can see the structure. Yeah, I seem to be going the right way. And look at the valley it is found in. We are really out here in the middle of nowhere. So with that bit of scouting, it's clear that we're definitely on the right mountain. Ooh, getting steeper and steeper. Don't know if this can really be counted as a trail anymore. Right, how am I doing this? This is overgrown. Don't think. Whoa, this is a very visited place. Eating a few spiders and flies along the way. Extra snacks, I guess.
I was getting so close to the structure now, but the higher I climbed, the worse the trail became, until I honestly started to wonder if this was even a trail at all.
Gotta be close now. Gotta be. This is brutal. It's just getting so thick. There's also lots of flies, so every time I stop, I become fly food.
Hate flies.
Quite a wonderful experience, really. Almost there, but I'm wrecked. I don't know if this is possible anymore. Right on the edge of having to turn back. Like, look at this. This is really wild. Stung. The ratio of nettles to not nettles has gone up significantantly.
Oh shit, yeah, he's not even on a trail anymore.
I think I'm a little stuck, to be honest. Okay. Yup. Very, very close to turning back.
It's so thick, that's what she said.
Steep mountainside climbing. Almost turned back. Maybe I should have. Completely in the middle of nowhere. I gotta be really careful of the wildlife. Bear territory. They love forested mountains, so this is where they'd be.
That is okay, first of all. A bear is not going to just be on the side of a mountain for no reason. Okay? In an open, like, their game trails and stuff like that, there's bear sign. There's ways to look to see if there's bears around. Don't just, oh yeah, that's bear country out here. There's not a bear around you right now, man. If you find bear poop or like freaking marking on trees and bark and stuff like that, fine. But...
Gotta be almost there now. I am so close, but the terrain around the structure is so overgrown that if I don't reach it soon, I'm gonna have to turn back. Where do I go? I might have hit a dead end. Come on. It's meant to be like right here. How can I not see it? Come on. Where are you? Gotta almost be there. Oh my goodness. Oh, I can see it. Whoa. I am just below it now. You can barely see it through the trees up ahead, but that is the tower I gotta get to. I'm almost there. Wow, there she is. It is sketchy rock. It is sat right on. Oh my goodness, this was brutal to get to. Just sat in the heart of a mountain range. What
I mean, that's
on
probably what he
earth?
wanted to do.
It's obviously a massive stone tower, most likely the remnants of a fortified watch post or
Wow,
maybe
look
a
at that thing.
castle. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. This has been one of the toughest hikes of my life. We've just been going through this for miles and miles and miles and miles. But I'm so happy to be here. I'm gonna pop down the bag, see if I can safely get around it. Oh,
Yeah, make yourself
shaking a
known
little
for
bit,
sure.
shaking. Oh my goodness. I gotta be real
Damn, look
careful
at that
here.
thing.
Big drop below me. There's no way I can walk around this. I do not want to fall down here. Literally a sheer drop. It is sat on
How's it
such a
going, Nick?
sheer rock that there's nowhere I can go to climb up to it safely, and I'm so remote I'm taking zero chances. So I'm gonna get the drone up and we can explore it via the drone. It'll also give you context for
Okay,
how
that's
remote
good.
we are right now. Oh, it's a
Wow,
huge
look at
structure.
that fucking structure.
Must be a massive castle.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Look at that.
All right, guys, so from flying the drone around, this seems very clearly to be much bigger than I thought. I thought it would just be this tower, but it actually stretches along the ridge.
No,
and
it
to
has
me,
a
it
whole
looks like
fucking
a
side wing.
castle. Now, what's insane is I have no idea why it's out here. There's nothing around. Maybe there was once a trading route through these mountains. I'm really not sure, but this is definitely the most remote defensive structure I've ever been to. And there's no other remnants other than the church earlier, but that is really many hours away down the valley. So I can't imagine this was built to protect that. This has been the most difficult journey, I think, on the channel yet. I
That's
was
pretty
close
cool.
to giving up a few times, but I'm really glad I didn't, because it is awesome to stand
Yeah.
below these walls.
Don't forget
Comment
it was
below
really
where I
cool.
should go to next, and make sure to subscribe for the next adventure, which I'm sure will be just as crazy as this.
Oh, right. Nice,
And
nice,
a huge
nice.
thank you to Hover Air for sponsoring.
Alright, there it is. And as for Hover Air, let's see here. First of all, get out of there. Accepts the cookies. Oh, Jesus, that is a pricey motherfucker. For all the stuff that you need. The all-in-one bundle. Okay, so you need... There's the X1 Pro and the Pro Max, which is kind of funny. Then you add the bundle. It's like $1,500. It's a pretty, You said accept the cookies, and I looked to see if Moon shared cookies. They always share cookies, so, you know. You can share them. Can we get a link in chat? Yes, we can. Even though I just closed out of it. Here. Check it out, guys. That's not it at all. I'm so sorry. Hold on. There. Oh my gosh, okay. So. Now we're gonna finish off the reaction stream with Alabama's Forgotten EF4 Tornado, and this is Beauregard. So, let us check it out. This is by June 1st, one of my favorite tornado-like case study video makers on YouTube.
It is 2:11 p.m. in Salem, Alabama. Vicky Braswell and 6 other family members hear the dreaded sound of the local tornado siren. But this wasn't just any tornado warning. This was a tornado emergency. To their west, an already
that's a
lethal
bad one.
half-mile-wide vortex is barreling towards them at 60 miles per hour. Hunkered in the middle of her manufactured home, they all brace for what came next. Sunday, March 3rd, 2019.
Okay,
Even
so
for
this
winter,
was just
the
6 years ago. Okay,
first 2 months
so-
of the year was noticeably quiet to start the tornado season. This theme was a carryover from 2018, as the United States was going on nearly 2 years without a violent tornado, a tornado rated a 4 or 5 on the enhanced Fujita scale. In these first days of March 2019, the entire continental United States was awash with very strong westerly flow. A deepening upper low over Canada created a speed maxima over the southeastern United States. This prompted rising motion, creating a surface low to form over Louisiana and drift east. Moist Gulf air evected northward towards the low. The Storm Prediction Center outlined an enhanced risk for severe weather. The primary concern at the time was for damaging linear winds as the cold front provided the main forcing. However, a conditional tornadic supercell threat seemed to exist in the warm sector. Extremely favorable wind shear could compensate where buoyancy was maximized. The reality of risk grew more evident in the late morning, with tornado watch issuance across much of southern Alabama. Further mesoscale discussions from the SPC foreshadowed an extremely narrow corridor along the Alabama-Georgia border, where strong and efficient low-level directional wind shear would establish. A forecast like this one requires constant updates as conditions evolve. For the few storm chasers out this day, mobile internet is a crucial tool in the toolbox to have the most up-to-date weather information possible. In rural parts of the country, it can sometimes be difficult to find reliable data connection, which is where today's video sponsor, Somali, comes in. As a storm chaser myself, I've chased in some of the most remote areas of the United States and even abroad to document the skies. Somali is an eSIM that makes it extremely easy to get mobile internet plans. I just downloaded their app, picked the plan I needed, and boom, I've got internet covered before I even depart for my destination. From tracking aurora conditions in remote Iceland, hurricane progress in the Yucatan of Mexico, or even places in rural America where my normal carrier has no coverage, Somali has affordable mobile internet plans for almost anywhere in the world that'll keep you from getting hit with costly unexpected roaming fees for sponsoring this video. A group of merging cells ahead of the cold front rocketed northeast towards Montgomery. The prevailing cell collided into the warm front positioned along I-85, turning it on an easterly course. This warm front both maximized vorticity being ingested and increased the storm relative inflow, a perfect 1-2 punch to turn this supercell tornadic. Warning coordinators at the National Weather Service office in Birmingham were already on the case, issuing tornado warnings well ahead of the storm. On the hour at 2 p.m. local time, the tornado touched down off of Rogers Road northwest of Society Hill, Alabama. Almost immediately, the circulation was over a quarter-mile wide. Damage was confined to trees and power poles, but it wouldn't stay that way.
Well, that's good.
At the warning desk at the Birmingham WFO, their dual polarized radar products confirmed a large tornado on the ground at 2:04 p.m. With signs of only strengthening, criteria was met to issue a tornado emergency, the highest level of tornado.
God damn. Okay. Is that? No. God damn.
A warning. Concurrently, the tornado overtakes Lee County Road 36. On the west side of the road, a manufactured home was picked up and thrown some 50 yards, claiming 2 of the 3 occupants' lives. Across the street, an unanchored single-family home had everything above ground scattered into an opposing tree line, including an occupant who'd also lose their life. After crossing a small pond, the tornado took aim at several homes along County Road 39. On this road are the homes of the Stensons, Robinsons, and Joneses. This group shared family ties through blood and marriages. The tornado went on to inflict some of the most catastrophic damage along this stretch, where a well-built home was reduced to rubble and several manufactured homes were windrowed into the adjacent woods. In this quarter-mile stretch of Lee County Road 39, multiple lives were claimed in a matter of seconds. The tornado emergency push notification alerts rippled downstream of the nearly mile-wide vortex.
No, hold on. Right, okay, I managed to get it on the right spot. At one point, this thing was angrier than fucking possible. Jesus.
Push notification alerts rippled downstream of the nearly mile-wide vortex. More manufactured homes were picked up from their weak foundations and thrown into debarked southern pines. On an offshoot of the parkway was the home of Marshall Lynn Grimes. Grimes is there with his partner, Sheila Creech, his daughter, 11-year-old Kayla, and her friend, Taylor Thornton. The manufactured home, like many others before it, stood no chance against the violent tornado.
Yeah, no, these things don't.
In the process,
They don't hold up
Grimes,
against the tornadoes of
Creech,
this time.
and Thornton would perish. Marshall Lynn Grimes was an avid motorcyclist and a devout man of faith. Sheila Creech, a survivor of Category 5 Hurricane Michael in Panama City, Florida, rekindled her relationship with Grimes in the aftermath. Taylor Thornton was described as a ray of sunshine who could make friends with anybody. The tornado moved eastward, leaving 11-year-old Kayla Grimes in the debris, gravely injured as the sole survivor.
Oh my god, that is depressing.
The storm tracked over more rural areas for the next couple miles, impacting the occasional residents before crossing into the southern edge of Salem, Alabama. Sirens wailed in town, which could be heard by Vicky Braswell and the 6 other occupants in her home. The company hunkered in the middle of the mobile home, doing their best to stay low. This did not matter to the tornado, as this manufactured home was picked up and entirely thrown onto its roof. Next door, another mobile home succumbs to the tornado in a similar fashion, its deck and above-ground pool still standing. Towards the border is the city of Smith Station, a growing suburb of the Columbus, Georgia metro. The community was a part of the original tornado emergency issued 17 minutes prior when the tornado bore down on the city.
Yeah, mobile homes don't stand a modicum of a chance. Like, even in, like, EF0. EF0, AF1, yeah, guess what? A mobile home has a chance of sustaining damage, if not being completely destroyed. Mobile homes are not meant for this kind of weather. Mobile home is basically a missile home. I mean, if it's not completely, like, splintered. Like, usually they just end up being a mess of debris.
Radar, a mile-wide debris ball paints a bleak picture for what is about to come. The
Holy
tornado
shit.
cuts debris ball.
Look at that. Look at that debris ball. Oh my god. And also, hello, Sparky.
Paints a bleak picture for what is about to come. The tornado cuts north of downtown where numerous neighborhoods lay. Fortunately for much of Smith Station, the tornado had lost some of its steam. Despite the wide wind field, damage is limited mostly to roofs for the majority of homes. Weaker structures near the core were the hardest hit. The tornado would leave Smith Station to the northeast, crossing Lake Oliver into the state of Georgia. Warning responsibilities now fell on the NWS office in Atlanta, who already had issued their own tornado emergency right before entering Smith Station. While Smith Station was getting hit by the violent long tracker, an embedded supercell to the west was spooling up seemingly in line with what had already been mowed over. Western Lee County found themselves under yet another tornado warning in less than an hour for a completely different storm. At 2:27 p.m., this new supercell planted a tornado 5 miles south of Tuskegee, Alabama. It tracked northeast towards the devastated areas of Lee County. Back over in
I will
Georgia,
say, it's like, looking back on, like, old tornadoes and stuff, it is surprising how many are, like, there's a lot of multiple vortex tornadoes out there.
the still ongoing original tornado cut through the rural areas north of the Columbus suburbs. Occasional homes would be subjected to the full force of the tornado, suffering similar fates to those of Lee County. The embedded supercell to the west drew in on Lee County, with NWS Birmingham confirming yet another damaging tornado on radar. With estimated peak winds of 115 miles per hour, this 3/4 mile wide tornado comes within 1/8 of a mile of the original tornado's track. For the next 12 miles, this second tornado carved a parallel track of destruction, disrupting the rescue efforts as first responders had to find shelter themselves. Among the first responders in the chaos is the neighbor of Vicky Braswell. Armed with a chainsaw, he'd cut his way into the flipped structure and freed the 7 inside. Vicky was the most injured.
Wow.
Despite life-saving efforts from the neighbor, she would pass. Vicky Braswell was described as an avid reader and a sweet soul. The original tornado was still ongoing over in Georgia. It struck the small town of Talbotton, where more homes would be reduced to slabs of concrete. Finally, after 76 minutes of terror, the tornado occluded in the rural woods 10 miles east of town. Back in Lee County,
Jesus, look at that scar.
11-year-old Kayla Grimes is fighting for her life. It had been 45 minutes since the tornado, where she still remained in the debris of what was once her home. She'd be rescued by first responders, where the extent of her injuries would be uncovered. Multiple bones were broken in each of her legs, her right wrist fractured, spleen ruptured, bruised lungs, and even an injury to her eye. It was a miracle that she survived. Other first responders upstream from the Grimes household reached the hardest hit areas at the intersection of Lee County Roads 36 and 39. It is quickly realized this is a mass casualty situation. In a devastating discovery, 10 of them found were relatives in one form or another, with ages ranging from 38 to 89 years old. As searches ran through the night and into the next day, the total loss of life in Lee County, Alabama climbed to 23, making this the most lethal U.S. tornado since the Moore EF5 in 2013. Another 90 sustained serious injuries requiring treatment. Immediately following the event, the National Weather Service offices of Birmingham and Atlanta conducted damage surveys. Across the two forecast office coverage areas, a 68-mile continuous path was carved.
Wow, that's a long track.
Just shy of a mile wide. This tornado earned an EF4 rating, with max estimated winds of 170 miles per hour. The longest period without a violent tornado in U.S. weather history ended at 22 months. The most alarming aspect of the survey was the number of fatalities and injuries associated with weakly built manufactured homes. A further study into the tornado found that 19 of the 23 fatalities were those sheltered in a manufactured home, with some of those structures less than 15 years old. In multiple instances, porches were essentially
I mean, seriously though, that shouldn't be, right? Manufacturers' homes should have foundations that they're anchored to, right?
untouched, while the homes themselves were completely destroyed. The root cause of these mobile home structure failures was due to a lack of adequate retention to foundations and their overall inherently weak construction. Beyond the two tornadoes that struck Lee County, an entire outbreak of tornadoes unfolded across the states of Alabama, Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina. Of the 44 confirmed touchdowns, 9 were rated EF2 or greater on this enhanced risk day. As for the victims, recovery was slow for many, including 11-year-old Kayla Grimes. After a half-dozen surgeries and many more hours of physical therapy, she'd go on to make a full recovery, with her fighting spirit being a part of the bright light for the residents of Lee County, Alabama. This tornado's anniversary would be overshadowed exactly a year later, when Nashville and Cookeville, Tennessee would see their own tragic tornadoes. As world events spiraled from there, and the Mayfield tornado disaster took place in 2021, the Lee County EF4 became overlooked, though its lessons on the dangers of sheltering in mobile homes are still very relevant today.
Yeah. Well, there you go. The forgotten EF4 of Birmingham, or Beauregard, rather. Alright, that actually brings us through all of our... Oh, thank you so much, Deadliest, for coming in with these 5 gifted members. That's Wolfsbane, Benjamin Fu, Dragon Arak, Suki Wookie, and Morse Clove. Welcome. So, yeah, Casualty sadly is Unit 6. It happens far more often than it should, sadly. But thank you very much, everybody, for spending the last couple hours reacting to content with me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell as hard as you possibly can. And I will see you all on the next one. Well, actually, you know what? We should have some, here, let me do this. Yeah, you know what we're gonna do? You guys are gonna like this one. Alright, guys. Take care.
I'm so stressed out. I feel like I'm having a panic attack. You want to talk about stress? You want to talk about stress? Okay? I've stumbled onto a major company conspiracy, Mac. How about that for stress? What the hell are you talking about? This company is being bled like a stuck pig, Mac, and I got a paper trail to prove it. Check this out. Take a look at this. Jesus Christ, that right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? Pepe Sylvia. This name keeps coming up over and over again. Every day, Pepe's mail's getting sent back to me. Pepe Sylvia, Pepe Sylvia. I look in the mail. Well, this whole box is Pepe Sylvia. So I say to myself, I gotta find this guy. I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands. Otherwise, he's never gonna get it. He's gonna keep coming back down here. So I go up to Pepe's office, and what do I find out, Mac? What do I find out? There is no Pepe Sylvia. The man does not exist, okay? So I decided, oh, shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper. There's no Pepe Sylvia. You gotta be kidding me. I got boxes full of Pepe. All right, so I start marching my way down to Carol and HR, and I knock on her door, and I say, Carol, I gotta talk to you about Pepe. And when I open the door, what do I find? There's not a single goddamn desk in that office. There is no Carol in HR. Mac, half the employees in this building have been made up. This office is a goddamn ghost town. Okay, Charlie, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. Not only do all of these people exist, but they have been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there. Gee.
So, if there's someone to point the finger at, it would be his brother. Oh my God! Oh my God, nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look! Nobody look!